We are back and we're covering All In. Sorry it took so long. We had family in town, and also All In was on Sunday, and we were not gonna cram up that with that together. So let's talk about the good, because there was a lot of good with this show. The feel of this felt bigger. The set was bigger. The entrances were grander than the first All In. The setup, I think, it just looked very grandiose. It looked
like a stadium show. The production was there.
Exactly. So I wanted this shot because it looked really good. Yeah. And it's like, in general, it just looked a lot better than the first one, but the first one was very much of a gamble. Yeah. This match was wrestled exactly how it needed to be. Yeah. Now, I do have a criticism, but we'll get to that when we get to the bad. But because of the relationship, you could tell that Toni Storm did not want to wrestle Mariah. Mm-hmm. She was very much like, I really don't want to do this. Please don't make us do this. And it was a good match. Mm-hmm. I did like this match. Between the two, this one was by far the best match.
Oh, yeah.
Of the women's contests. And the right person won. But I really wanted to bring up that storytelling perspective in the ring with this.
The storytelling for the vast majority of these matches was surprisingly good.
Yep. But this one really stood out because this one had, I would say, the strongest story going in, even over the title versus career one. The surprises for the Casino Gauntlet match were good. People lost their minds. Somebody tweeted out, what would it be crazy if instead of Ricochet, it would have been Ryback?
Right.
That would have been awesome. But
it was pretty much a foregone conclusion by then that Ricochet was going to be
but Nigel McGuinness was the big one that I was like, wow, this is really cool. The Gauntlet match, how AEW does it, I like how it's done, where they just bring in person after person after person until somebody pins somebody.
Right.
And then the match stops. I think that's a really cool way of doing a Gauntlet match. But yeah, that's sort of why, because I had a moan about the triple threat qualifier because whoever won the match got to be number one. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how is that an advantage?
Yeah, that's not an advantage.
But of how they set it up, where if you're in there longer, you have more of a chance of pinning somebody. So Orange Cassidy could have pinned, I can't remember who he was in the ring with. He could have pinned the other person immediately, and then the match would have been done.
Right.
So it makes more sense. Yeah. It's the good and the bad portion of it, you know? This was a very good match. Yep. This was a match that should have been at the regular show a couple of weeks ago where MJF won the American champion. The entrances of these guys was a freaking awesome, though. I loved it.
And then again, Will Ospreay cannot have a bad match.
Or MJF for that matter. But, you know, this was wrestled very well. I really liked it. MJF winning the champion felt kind of useless, but I'm going to give it a pass because I did like how we sort of got to this point. Yeah. So I can't necessarily be too mad. And then, once again, the Assassin's Creed entrance was really cool. Yeah. And MJF just having this big, grandiose, American-themed entrance in England was awesome.
Right.
And, you cannot hate this match.
No.
This was a fantastic contest. So I was very happy that they really brought this to light.
And this is Danielson's first world title in AEW, yes?
Yes, he never won the world champion outside of this year.
This is going to be his last one, too, because he's going to retire once the champion is off him.
Exactly. Now, the follow-up was terrible, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it later. I think that was it for positives. But with the positives, we have to go into our negatives.
Yay!
There was no entrance for the first match, which actually I was not a big fan of. I think
this was just a convoluted mess, too.
Yeah, it was. I just think every match on a pay-per-view should have an entrance, but that's just me. I'm very much a traditionalist.
And honestly, the team that won is kind of awkward, but it gave Pac his big moment. It was just not the Death Triangle.
Right.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the Lucha Brothers.
Essentially fucking off.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, did I not have number two? Whatever. The negative on this. Was there a reason for Mariah May to hit her mom? Was there a reason for it? Because I watch it every week and I still have no idea.
No.
It led to nothing.
Yeah.
It did nothing.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's like they just did that to piss off the mom, because that's weird.
Right.
The crowd mics all over this show was kind of a distraction.
Yeah.
But This was awful.
Yeah, this just god awful.
This was beyond awful. Just terrible in every way.
Hook needs to go to NXT and Jericho needs to retire.
Yep. Jericho is fat and old, and Hook, bless his heart, but he cannot do like a I am hurt sort of look. His selling is there.
Yep, again, go to NXT.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, this match was also just
this was bad, but I think Britt Baker gets a lot of unnecessary hate. She led this match.
Well, of course,
she tried her best
because Mercedes Moné doesn't know how to lead a match.
She has actually gotten worse.
Yeah,
she has gotten worse since leaving WWE, and that is actually impressive. Like, that is legit. She got worse after leaving Stardom. She got worse after leaving WWE. And maybe people need to realize that Mercedes Moné is pretty much the catalyst to a lot of these issues. But people are like, oh my God, Britt Baker did not sell Mercedes Moné's finisher. Yeah, she did. She was on the ground for a while.
Yeah.
Like, chill out. What are you talking about? It was a mess.
It was. This was just stupid.
Can they not bring up anything from the last All In without hurting themselves?
So
with the glass.
So this match, to their defense, it needed to be rushed because the timing was just off. So they probably had more setup that they had in mind, but they didn't do it because they had to get the match done in a certain period of time. And
is that why?
Yep, I think so. Yeah, that's why the match was unusually short.
Did they rush the match?
They did.
Huh. I didn't know that they cut the match down.
Yeah, they did. They rushed that match. That's my defense. That is why the match was just boring in there.
It was super weird.
Yeah, it was.
Now the right person won. I think Jack Perry has to have this title a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But now he's going for the AEW World Champion. Why him? All people.
You know what? We're just gonna roll with it.
Of literally everybody, why him? You could have done something with Nigel.
Right.
It's like even if it was just the one match, if it's like title versus career, where all of that happens with Danielson and McGuinness, that would have been really cool. But no, now they're doing Perry for some reason. Sting's hair, it was painted. Look at it, so you can see it on the side.
Oh it looks painted.
It looks awful. I'm like, it looks silly. It's like, dude. I think they wanted to do this because they needed something here. Yeah. I heard is that this was sort of out of nowhere too, where it's like, oh, you just have to get out there. We need something. I thought it was stupid, but anyway. And the one negative that I have to say about this match that I was not, I don't know why I didn't like it, but the neck, where they like stop the match and make sure Danielson's neck did not have an owie. I'm like, this slowed down the match so much. It was kind of obnoxious, and also, what was the point of the Hangman Page getting involved? He was trying to get into attack Swerve. He got escorted out, and they continued on for like another 5 minutes. That distraction led to nothing. It was nothing. But it did not totally take away from everything else that was positive about that match. So that's why it was sort of like, is it a negative? Yeah, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But that was really all in. Overall, I'm gonna give the show a full thumbs up.
Oh yeah, it was a good show.
It was. I liked it. So when we come back, we're talking about Bash in Berlin.